So, what I was thinking we could start with are any testimonies. So, any testimonies you have from the last couple weeks where God has really shown up in your life. We know that the Bible says that the enemy is defeated by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So, we are all on this call at the perfect time, at the perfect place for a specific reason. And it might be your testimony that really encourages someone and gives them the word that they need to hear that totally dramatically changes their life forever. So let's start with a testimony of how God has shown up in your life. With those of you with your camera off, if you can't share, if you can't unmute yourself because you're working or something like that, if you want to put it in the chat, you can do that as well. And then I've been studying a specific verse, and so we can go over that. Possibly the verse that talks about us being more than conquerors. And so I dove into that for hours yesterday in the original Greek and studied it. And it's really powerful. It's really powerful. So unless we have something else come up to talk about, then we can discuss that because I know that we are all going through our own unique challenges and battles. And so knowing that we are more than conquerors and actually understanding what that actually means and living into it is a whole different world. So we might go down that route or we might go down a totally different route. So we'll see what God does. So if anyone wants to share a testimony, how did God show up in your life in some way over the last couple weeks?
Hey, it's Heather.
Hi,
Sorry, I was
Heather.
trying to get off of mute and my phone was not cooperating.
It's all good. We hear you
Um,
now.
Yay. So I just think, so the testimony that I have this weekend is just, I didn't get to attend She Speaks. I know a lot of us were supposed to be there, and then for one reason or another, it didn't happen, flights and all the things. But I did get to attend our book launch party on Sunday, which was amazing. And I think the testimony for me is that my husband was able to go with me this weekend. And I think the impact that it had on him, like listening to the stories from the other authors, sometimes it's hard, I guess, when, they don't really see the vision, right? You have the spouse
Mhm.
who doesn't see, like, this is what God has you doing and the places that you're in. And they don't really see the things that are working behind the scenes. And all of us know that it has been just a divine appointment with each lady that has been in the book, and the amazing stories that God has brought together, and then all of the God winks and just all of the confirmation that we've all received of, this is definitely something that he's moving it and getting it into the hands of the women who need it. But my husband, in listening to all of the stories, like, he was completely moved by just several of the ladies, and Jory in particular, with her story of being a teacher and just how she is showing up as the best version of herself. And he just talked about it for probably 45 minutes
Wow.
on the ride home. And my husband's not a big talker about these types of things. Um, he's the sports guy. He wants to talk about that. So just to hear him, like, just share like what he thought God was doing, in that moment, and just the impacts from the different ladies that were there, and just like Tamara and how she just made an impact on him just in that short time that he had to meet her, and just, seeing, you know, just Jesus basically pour out of her. He was like, it was awesome. And so I think that's my testimony, is that, he is really moving. He's kind of struggled. We've gone back and forth, I think, in our marriage, where when one is strong in our faith, the other one is not. And I think he's kind of been on that other end of, really not, and being a little disconnected. And, this was really just seeing him like kind of come back and see what God's doing, and some conversations that we're having, and him to kind of be reflective on, hey, this is how I can show up as a better version of me and reflect Jesus better. Like, it was just amazing. And so I will be grateful for that, just simply because it made such an impact on him. So not just the ladies, but also the men were getting impact from this as well.